Hey everyone, how's it going? So first of all, yep, I'm balding now. No, I just shaved the hair, needed a change, and also it was getting in my eyes and I was doing the Justin Bieber flick, which is not cool. So today we're going to be finally talking about the patrol and what the hell's been going on with it and why I just haven't been uploading any videos about it. So, to start everything off, hang on, where did I put it? So I'd given my diesel pump to a diesel shop local to us because the patrol didn't start. I think I've cut a bit of video clips onto some of my other videos, but to run the whole gist of it, I put everything back together, bled the fuel injector system. I think maybe it was still sucking in air or something, but it seemed to bleed pretty alright. And so I bled it and got it ready and went to start it, and it would just start for like a second or two and then it would die. Ooh. If I just go with that little thing, yeah. So yeah, that was a bit of a blow to the self-esteem, but I didn't let that dishearten me. I pulled the pump off and gave it to the diesel shop with instruction to put it on one of their test benches. So when I did ask for the test, I told them to test it to an RD28 ETI pump, even though this is the older GQ pump, because I put a bigger plunger and metering, I put a bigger plunger and the bigger distributor rotor head, hydro head, whatever you call it, onto the GQ pump here. And they had to fool around. They needed to put a new O-ring on the advance plate and on the one of the other spots, I think. But after all, it spun up fine on the bench and it passed test. So they didn't give me any paperwork with it, but yeah, it passed test. So it's got the final OK, which is awesome. So that means the pump's not the issue. So that means now the injectors must be the issue. I'm hoping, because if it's not the injectors, there's a very big problem somewhere else. But anyway, I'm going to go rip the injectors out now, and hopefully they should be okay. Okay, so I've got all 6 of my injectors out, and you're going to notice, first of all, the number 1 injector is different to the rest. So the reasoning for that is that because the ETI RD28 has the electronic control for the motor, the number 1 injector has this needle lift sensor on it. So it's got a little magnet in there and a wire that runs to the harness, so the ECU knows when the needle in the number 1 injector lifts, and that will tell the ECU the timing of the pump, because you can rotate it differently with the ovaled out holes there to advance and retard it. So the timing of the pump in relation to the rest of the engine's rotation to allow it to make corrections based on that. So the rest of the injectors are 27mm hex deep sockets to get them out, whereas the number 1 injector, as you saw me use, I used a 27mm 12-point end of a ring spanner. I just had to crush over this top part of the needle lift sensor a bit to get the spanner on. So you might not want to do that. You might want to buy the proper tool. I don't know if Nissan makes it anymore, but it's pretty much a 27 12-point socket with a window in it, so it'll slide over this sensor here. I don't care though, because I'm not going to really be needing that wire to work. But yeah, so got the injectors out. So these are Pindle nozzle injectors, which means that the little needle down the bottom there, don't know if you can see it, that lifts up because there's spring pressure in the top here. There's a big spring there, and the fuel flow comes under and will push back on the needle to lift it to allow fuel flow down this way into the combustion chamber. So now you'll also notice this other injector's got this bit stuck on the top. This is the remains of my fuel spill rail. So this injector, the top part at least, was seized because I had a socket on this top nut, not this one here, and I tried to spin that off and it just broke the spill rail straight up. So yeah, that's busted now. I have gone ahead and got a new spill rail. However, this is a RD28 GQ spill rail, so it's got slightly different geometry if you look. So the ETI one being on the bottom, it's got that ravine at the front, whereas the GQ one doesn't. So I hope that won't be an issue. That might mean I have to bend up some new injector lines, but that won't be the end of the world. But anyway, I've got the GQ pump here. I wanted to talk about the injector system a bit as well, because the ETI motor, your injector pump's going to have this electronic positioner on the top, which has the return from the spill rail into here, and then the return to the pump, into the tank, sorry. So with the electronic positioner, this little button on the bottom there, on that spindle, sits in your metering sleeve and positions that. So this electronic positioner acts for the governor and the throttle itself, which are both parts of the mechanical pump off the GQ here. So what I also wanted to touch on right now, I'm not going to talk your ears off, is RD28 injector lift pressures. So the RD28 GQ, I've got the 9mm plunger and metering sleeve here. That's a 9mm plunger, but the ETI has an 11mm plunger. So I've done the upgrade. I will have a video coming out on that soon. So because of that difference, the lift pressure out of the RD28 GQ manual, the lift pressure for an old injector is 122 to 132 bar, and for a new injector 132 to 140 bar, whereas the ETI with the 11mm plunger is going to have a old injector lift pressure of 142 bar, and then a new injector lift pressure of 147 to 156. So now, what does that mean, you say? Well, because of the slightly lower lift pressure of the GQ injectors, that means that if you say had a GU engine and you wanted to put a GQ pump on, there's a small chance that your GU injectors that have the higher lift pressure in them because of the 11mm plunger won't be lifting from the 9mm plunger that you have in a GQ pump that you put on it. That's what I was a bit worried about, and hence why I've done the fooling around with mine. So that's just something to consider. I don't know if that's going to be a problem. I will also just give you a rundown of the injector here. So the spill rail itself I was talking about, it sits on the top here, and you can see there's a little hole to the right here, which runs through this crush washer through the little holes there and into the bottom of the spill rail, which then runs to the return, which ties into the return from the pump and runs back to your fuel tank. Now the spill rail itself, it does not aid the injectors in positive boost pressure. The positive boost increase of fuel delivery does not equalize with the fuel pressure. It's just determined, it's just set. The actual delivery of fuel is increased with boost because of a governor inside the top here in the boost assembly. I'll talk about that another day. So all the spill rail does is it creates a return from the excess of fuel that comes back past the lift, the needle lift at the bottom. And the reason for that is the inside of the injector assembly needs lubrication, which comes from the diesel fuel itself. I hope that's updated everyone on what's going on. I apologise it's been so long a time between videos of the patrol. I've been dailying the Hilux and it's been good as gold, hasn't broken down on me once. Actually no, the other day, 2 days ago I think, I was driving home from work, sweet as, pull up at the lights, damn the car's running well, look down, no oil pressure, 0 PSI. I came so close to pooing my pants, it is not even funny. I think I cut off about 4 cars trying to cut across 3 lanes to get into a side road so I could shut the engine off. I was sweating buckets, but it turns out the positive line from the sender for the electronic pressure gauge had just come off. So I still had oil pressure and so everything was fine. It's just it didn't read it on the gauge and my life flashed before my eyes. But apart from that, sorry, I've been doing lots and lots of overtime at work. It's been really busy, and yeah, I just haven't been having the amount of time that I would be to put the effort into these videos. But I'm going to start really trying to churn out videos now. I'm going to sort of kick back on the editing a little bit. I'm going to put a bit more speaking into each video because I tend to do that, but I tend to chop it out to try and shorten it up. But I'm going to try and get a constant stream of videos coming out just so, because I don't know if many people care about the vlogging part of it, you know. I prefer to show like physical stuff, but please let me know in the comments. It helps a lot, and see what sort of viewing audience I have and what they want to see. But yeah, that's it for today. So like and subscribe. Thanks very much everyone, and I'll see you all later.